What's the most important thing you want to see from your team this week in preparation heading into Marshall?
The most important thing is, it's a hard one. There's a lot of things you know, as you prepare. Hopefully just mentally we can start to focus in, you know what I mean, as we get ready. I mean, there's so much, Scott. I mean, there's so much you want to work on in this last week. I don't know if this is the one thing, so it's kind of a hard question. But hopefully, I guess one thing is just hopefully we're better this week than we were last week. Just every day you're trying to get better.
Have you seen that through fall camp, that the team has gotten better week to week in practice?
I think we're improving, but there's always ebbs and flows. I mean, you know, people are human. Some days they're like, "Ooh, we're ready." Some days, okay, we need some work. You know, you kind of go back and forth. But there are good days, there are bad days. You know, obviously as coaches, we try our best to make sure that we're constantly on the incline. But I'd be lying to say if we went every day, we got better. You know, there are a lot of good days, but there's some days that felt like, you know what, we didn't have a good day. So kind of ebbed and flowed.
How's the team handled the adversity that they've had coming out of those days where they haven't maybe been as good as you wanted them to be?
Well, I don't know if I can say it's adversity for a team. It might have been individuals. You know what I mean? The thing that football is so unique, you got 11 guys playing, or when you're going against each other, there's 22 guys playing. So it'd be hard pressed to have all 22 playing at their peak all the time. So, you know, you're just trying to get everybody to play their best every day. And guys just keep coming back. I've been impressed with our resiliency. Guys just continue to keep fighting, Scott. And so, you know, that's what I'm pleased about. Just guys come to work every day.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Pete Medhurst.
Coach Pete Medhurst, play-by-play guy, Navy Radio Network. We talked with Donald about 15 minutes ago, and for players like him who had never experienced a spring football period, he contributed for you at the end of last season. This year, being able, you and your coaches, to actually work on things like technique and the little detailed things that probably weren't taught because of the way you all prepared last year. How much of a jump can we expect from a player like him and others who really didn't have that coaching that you all normally, give your guys on a weekly and, clearly this year, a spring football basis?
You can only think it's going to help them, and they'll be much better. Like you said, guys like Donald and Biscuit, having that opportunity. John Marshall, just guys thinking off the top of my head, we had some linemen, the opportunity to go through spring practice. I mean, going against yourselves in practice, all the camp, all the, 20 plus practices that you have during camp, I can think it can only help you, Pete, get better. So we're counting on that. We've seen guys improve. I feel, and I've said this over and over, I just feel better. Feel better coming to this season because, like you said, guys have gotten reps, guys that were inexperienced, got a ton of playing time. I feel like we're able to run our core offense, which I didn't feel so good about last year, going into camp because we weren't able to do stuff, but it will definitely help us, Pete.
Can you remember a quarterback battle that went this far because the players competing in that battle just continue to show you that, hey, I'm not done competing yet, and I'm going to compete until you tell me I'm not the guy?
I might remember, but I can't think of one either. I can't think of one that's probably gone this deep. No, I can't think of. Scott, maybe you can. I can't.
I can't. No, no.
And the fact that it's because the players keep competing at the level that they are, positive thing as you all as a coaching staff try to sort out that particular battle?
Yeah, and if one guy plays over the other, it's not like there's a huge disparity. If we end up picking one guy over the other, it's because, we're thinking, okay, he did a little bit better, but it's not, I don't think it's a clear-cut deal. It shows that, they've both done really good things. They both have their strengths. And if one guy ends up playing are starting over the other, it's a really tight race. And if one guy ends up starting, wouldn't be surprised to see the other guy playing in the game. You know what I mean? Because they're that close.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Pete.
Mike James.
Hey, Coach. Mike James from the Mid Report. Kind of piggybacking off of what Pete just said, you've talked a lot about the value of going against Coach Newberry's defense when you're trying to develop quarterbacks. I'm wondering if there's kind of that can be kind of a double-edged sword in the sense that you want guys to have confidence in what they're doing, but if they're constantly getting shut down by the defense, if you worry about maybe they'll lose a little bit of that confidence, is there anything that you do to make sure they keep the confidence up in what they're seeing and what they're doing?
No, I mean, offenses have their days too. It hasn't been like we've been getting shut down every day. So it's been a good battle. You know what I mean? And so, yes, if we came out every day and we couldn't get in a yard, I'd be nervous. But it's been kind of give and take. There have been some times where the offense would get the better of the defense, and some days defense would get better offense. I think what more I was talking about with Coach Newberry stuff is just the plethora of looks that you get. You're not just lining up in one front or one coverage. There are so many things that they do. We pre-snap stem, we slant post-snap, all the coverages that we do. And so there's a wide variety of what we do. And quite frankly, in the course of going against our defense, we might see every look that we'll see probably during the season, because he plays so many different things. And so it's really good for the quarterbacks. It's great for the O-line, to see all the different looks. But no, I've always been, and even if the defense every day, shut down the offense, I'd much rather have it that way as opposed to structuring, hey, you stand right there, let us get a pass over you, and, you fabricate things. And it's much better. I'd rather put in the fire in practice than in the course of the game. But there's been enough good things from the quarterbacks and the offense that you feel like you got a chance, Mike. You know what I mean? So I'm encouraged that way.
You're looking at a team like Marshall, one of the things that stands out about them is their defensive line, where it's not necessarily the biggest you'll see, but they're really fast and really athletic, and the kind of defensive line that can track a play down from behind if you're not running, at your peak efficiency. How important is it for the quarterbacks to be really on their game against a team like Marshall?
Well, we all have to. I mean, we're expecting be a pretty high pressure defense. We played against Coach Guidry when he was at Western Kentucky. So philosophically, we kind of know what he does. He's likes to bring a lot of pressure. They're really aggressive against us when we played them, and in Western Kentucky. And it's kind of what he does. Now, what how they do things, how much he'll keep from how they played us against Western Kentucky, how much will he change? I mean, I don't know, but I'd imagine they'll be pretty aggressive. And again, you're just guessing. Like I said, it's kind of sounds like why Coach Huff hired him, because he wanted the high pressure, wanted to come after people. And like I said, playing him, we recognize he's a high pressure guy. So I'd imagine they'll be coming, the linemen will be running to the ball. In order to be a pressure defense, you got to have some guys that play great effort. And, just watching him last time he coached, he's got a lot of energy. The kids play hard for him. And so, the quarterback and the O-line's got to be on their cues to make sure we get all of our gaps taken care of.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Mike.
Grant Trailer.
Coach Grant Trailer of HD Media in Huntington. How are you doing today?
Hey, Grant, how you doing?
Good. Got a few for you really quick, and I'll try and fire them off and not take up too much of your time. But just discussing the strengths and weaknesses, differences between Xavier and Ty really quick. What do you like the best, and what do each bring to the table? Well,
Xavier's similar to, and I equate him to kind of Malcolm Perry, kind of elusive, cut, he can cut, really elusive runner, more along the lines, like I said, of Malcolm. Malcolm Perry that we had a couple years ago. Ties more along the lines of guy we had a couple years ago, Will Worth or Ricky Dobbs, that bigger kid, 215, 220, strong runner that can throw the football. And so and we've played with all different types of quarterbacks here, you know what I mean? And so I think those are their strengths. Xavier's a really elusive kid, really quick, hard, and Ty's probably more of a stronger runner with probably a bigger arm.
Sort of looking at something that was just previously discussed, Marshall's strength was their defensive front last year, one of the top 10 teams against the rush in the nation. Does that add an element of excitement for you all just to see the improvements? Obviously, last year wasn't what you wanted. You want to see how well your team has improved and a great test in week 1.
Well, it's going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, there's, like you said, they're really good on defense. Got a lot of guys up front returning, really stout against the run. But that's also what we do. We run the football. And so it's going to be a great challenge for us. We're looking forward to it. But we recognize athletically the guys that they got up front. It's going to be a great challenge because they're big and athletic.
One of the greatest programs in college football, and I've heard of the unique atmosphere. I was up there for the Military Bowl in 2013 when Marshall played, and it was a great atmosphere and to see the stadium, but I can only imagine what it is for a Navy home football game. How important is that for your guys? We talked to Donald, and he hadn't seen that since his visit. How important is that for your guys to experience that atmosphere in game 1, something they didn't get to do last year?
We're a hard team to beat at home. As I said, we are a hard team to beat at home in a normal atmosphere. I don't know our exact number, Scott would know, but we're a tough team to beat at home with the mids here, a capacity stadium. It's a great home field advantage for us. I've had several coaches that, played against in our league that have come from Power 5 schools, and I don't think they recognize, what our stadium would be like at capacity. So, we're expecting a full stadium, loud crowd, and the mids are hard to beat at home at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in a regular year. I'm not even thinking about last year. Last year, in my mind, didn't exist.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
53-17 under Niumatalolo at home in a regular year. Kareem Copeland.
Hey, Ken. Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Good seeing you.
Hey, Kareem. Good seeing you in your shoes.
Thank you. Quick question about Jamal Glenn. I just want to, what has kind of stood out about him, on the field and his progression, number one. And number two, could you just kind of talk, explain a little bit of, the kind of kid and the kind of leader he is off the field?
Well, Kareem, he's come back from injury and he's doing really well. We thought he played really well the last couple of games that he started, really impressed the way he played. But just impressed with him off the field, his resiliency. He stayed the course, wasn't getting much playing time early on. Just stayed the course in special teams, got his shot on defense and played extremely well. But I couldn't be more happy for a young man like that, a local kid, from, the DMV. Just really excited to see kids locally come here and do well. But, the kid's the salt of the earth, man. He's just a great young man, great person, great teammate. Just constantly works hard, doesn't say much, but is a great example to young guys.
I talked to him last week, and that's what I was going to say. He's kind of a quiet kid, but seems very determined in once he makes his mind up and things. Have you seen that over his 4 years?
Yes, his actions, speak louder than his words. Because he practices so hard, because he, never got down regardless of where he was on the depth chart, regardless of where he stood status-wise on the roster, it didn't deter him from how hard he worked. And so you're really happy for those kind of kids that just stayed the course, ended up playing and played well, like I said, at the end of part of the year. He's had a good camp, so him coming back, we've been pleased to have him back, but really, really happy for a kid like that.
That's perfect. All for me. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Kareem. Thank you.
Phil Bergman.
Hey, Coach Phil Bergman, Navy, NavySports.com. The two teams, Navy and Marshall, share connection with Jack Langle. What is it going to mean to get to honor him Saturday and share this bond with such a legendary coach and administrator out there?
Well, yes, like you said, there's a great tie between both schools. But, you know, to be able to do this, to represent Jack, you know, in two institutions that were very important to him, you know, it's exciting. To be honest with you, I kind of wish it wasn't Marshall because they're really good. I was like, could have Jack had another school that wasn't so good at football? But, you know, he's at a really good school. He coached at two good schools. And so, you know, they're picked to win their conference. Saw how good they were. I mean, they've been good for a long time. This is a really good program. So on the field, it's going to be a great challenge. Off the field, it's an awesome deal. You know what I mean? For Jack to be able to, you know, honor both schools that have been a big part of his career. You know, we're excited to be a part of it, but we recognize football-wise, it's going to be a tough challenge for us.
The depth chart came out earlier today. Most of the starters we knew about. Punter, though, Duke Paane, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. What can we know about him?
Well, he's a young kid. You know, I mean, he's got a big leg. You know, so, you know, just working on him. Like I said, when you're young, you're still learning stuff, but he's got a big leg, and we're looking for big things from him.
Thank you.
I feel.
I don't have anything in the chat box. I'll just go around. Mr. Landon, do you have anything? You good? Okay. Wags.
Yes. You had mentioned about Marshall's defense and what you think you might expect from them. You've reviewed their offensive coordinator and their head coach. What about offense? Are they a spread team that wants to throw it around? Or are they going to get in an I formation, try to pound the ball, establish the run? Kind of what are you expecting out of Marshall offensively?
Well, they got the coordinator back. You know, I mean, they're one of the top off. I mean, they're a really good offense. You know what I mean? So I'd imagine, you know, I don't know. Normally when that happens, you know, the head coach is happy with what they did. You know what I mean? So I'd imagine there'll be some similarities, maybe some things that maybe the coach their OC would want to add that he didn't do last year. You know, last year was such an abbreviated year. So sometimes guys didn't put in all their stuff, but no, they're definitely not going to be an eye pounding the ball. I mean, they're a spread team and they do a really good job. You know, they can run the ball, but they, you know, Wells is a really good quarterback. Got some big wide receivers that they get the ball to, but they can hurt you in the run game. You know, spread you out if you get like most people. You start to go out. I mean, they can hurt you in the run game. So that's why these teams are so hard to stop. You don't know where to put your finger at. You know. Because of all the weapons they have, and they got a quarterback that can distribute the ball to all of them. You know, that makes it tough.
Are you excited that, I mean, you have been able to prepare your team the way you know how, the formula that you've created here? Are you excited to see what the product is out there Saturday?
Very excited. Very excited. I mean, I just feel better because I know we prepared like how we normally prepare. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, but I know, you know, this is what, you know, I've been doing this a long time. And so I just feel better. The things that we've done in the past, we were able to do this year, all of it. I mean, last year, you know, like I said, there are a lot of things we didn't do. This year, we did everything. And there wasn't anything we didn't hold back. Now, you know, if we lifted, maybe we had to put on masks, which might be the only, you know, difference. But we were in the weight room lifting. You know, last year we could only lift, you know, 10 at a time, and you know, just all the different rules and protocol stuff last year. Our whole program is vaccinated. We've done everything normal this year, so I don't have any apprehension. I don't have any apprehension. Can we run this? Can we do this? I know I've seen it. You know, we've had. I'm trying to remember, maybe a couple weeks ago, going against ourselves, maybe 700 snaps, you know, from spring ball, you know. So I don't know, through the course of the whole camp and through everything, you know, preseason, spring ball, I mean, over 1,000 snaps going against each other. We didn't have any of that last year. It's kind of mind-boggling that we played last year. I was just thinking about it, like, man, we didn't do any of this last year. And so I feel much better going into this fight. I don't know what will happen. Like I said, it's going to be, they're a really, really good football team and very talented, really good football coaches. But at least I know coming into this fight, we're prepared. You know, so yeah, I just feel better that we're prepared this year.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Wags.
Pete Medhurst.
Coach, what gave Isaac the edge at B-back? And is there, like we were talking about the minuscule difference at quarterback, is there a great deal of difference right now between he and James at fullback?
That's a great point, Pete. Probably not. They're probably both going to play a ton, and they both have different strengths. But you're right. That it's so, the difference is so minuscule that they're both going to be playing on Saturday.
And when you guys face defenses, a lot of teams will run a lot of bodies up in the box, but against a team like Marshall that's got a really experienced safety like Drayton, number 8, there's one thing of having a body there, but when you have that safety, who really seems to know what he's doing in situations like that, how much more difficult does that make it to execute against teams who have people that seem to know what they're doing back there and pretty experienced like that?
Well, when you got people on the back end that know what they're doing, it always makes it tough because on any defense, as Coach tries to say, they're the erasers. They can make up for other people's mistakes. So if you got good people back there, it makes up for a lot of deficiencies. Maybe a linebacker or a D lineman, mess up on something. If you got good people in the back end, it can save you. And on the other side of it, if you got guys that got bad eyes or don't do what they're supposed to do, it can cost you dearly. So having good people in the back there, having an experienced guy in the back is definitely a plus.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mike James.
In a normal year, the only team you ever play from another FBS conference is Air Force. So the Marshall game's a little unusual. We're playing a team from another conference, and not only that, but a team that is picked to possibly win it. With conference politics being what they are, is that something that shows up on your radar at all, or within the locker room?
Well, we're always trying to win. You're trying to win every game. Obviously, we want to win for our conference. They want to win for their conference. They want to win for their program. We want to win for our program. But you're right. I much rather would have liked to have opened up with the Patriot League team. And that would have been my preference. But we're having to play them, and so it's not only is a very good league. We know how good those teams are in this league. We've played them before in this league, but they're picked to win their league. So that's a pretty impressive deal. So we try to win every game, and it does at the end. Obviously politics or whatever you want to say, people are trying to your conference strength of schedule or your profile of your conference improving by beating other conferences. It definitely helps, but really when we're playing this game, we're trying to beat Marshall. I'm sure Marshall's just trying to beat us. And maybe at the end you could say, oh, you beat this conference or whatever, but ultimately it's just trying to beat them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a quick trip through. Wags, you good? Pete? Phil? Mike? Oh, go ahead, Wags.
I'm good. I just want to tell you that I'm good.
Okay, Wyckoff. Chuck Landon. Grant.
Yeah, just one thing that I'll touch on really quick. And I know that going up against a new staff, especially in an opener, you don't have much film on the staff as a collective. Do you normally look at film from older games based on the coach, or do you look more at the personnel that you're going to be facing that week and how it should mesh?
Both. We look at last year, look at their personnel. We try to look at, coordinators, where they came from, look at guys on the staff. There's a lot of guessing involved, And so you just try to see what guys are doing, but you don't really know. The first game is always tricky because you're trying to prepare for everything. You don't really know. You try to get into the game and figure it out. I know offensively for us, going against defenses, our staff's been doing it for so long. We've pretty much seen everything. So it might take us a couple series or a series fair. Okay, this is what they're doing, and we kind of go from there. It's kind of been what we've done, and there have been many times we'll prepare for someone and get to the game, and we have to throw away our game plan. Like, oh, they didn't line up that way, throw that out. But like I said, we've been doing it for so long, and it's the same thing on defense. You kind of prepare for some stuff, and the first games are always hard for defensive coordinators because you prepare for everything. You're looking for ghosts, and what if they come in this? What if they try that? And you just got to be prepared. And sometimes you can start chasing ghosts in that situation, but it's always tough. The first game's always tough, especially with the new staff. It's always tough, but you try your best to look at the coordinators, maybe see the head coach, maybe his background, maybe some of the new guys that brought in their staff. Look at the personnel grouping. What would they try to do? What would be their personnel grouping? Would they be a 3 down, 4 down, front, odd, or even front? You just try your best to guess, but really just get to the game and you just adjust from there.
Well, and that was sort of the follow-up of the follow-up, I guess you could say, is, how much will that factor into, okay, whoever starts a game 2 series, 3 series in, if we see what Marshall's doing, that might factor into who's at quarterback, who's at B-back, everything like that.
Yeah, all of that goes into play. You're gathering data all the time. But like I said, our staff's been doing this for so long. Mm-hmm. I've been in this offense 30 years plus. So as coach, we just kind of see what you're doing, and then we just kind of go from there. And then we go through our Rolodex of stuff. I'm talking offensively. Okay, here's what they're doing. Then we have all of our ideas, how we attack from there. But it all goes with the quarterback. And so again, last year we had a quarterback. Our quarterbacks didn't get any spring practice or any fall camp. Where this year we've had quarterbacks that have gotten, as a team, we've gotten 1,000 reps, or whatever, 900, whatever reps. So you feel much better that when you make adjustments on the sideline, that they'll have a better idea what you're talking about. And so that gives you more confidence that you can make some adjustments, you can tweak things, and so remember this is what we do. And guys, oh yeah, we did that in camp. Not like, you're drawing up for the first time and they hadn't practiced it. We've practiced pretty much against everything, offensively. And then defensively, again, Coach Newberry's trying to prepare for everything. Seeing what they've done, seeing stuff in the past, and just kind of go from there.
We've been thinking about everybody in Louisiana. What have you heard from your family and friends about the storm and how they're doing?
I heard from a lot of people they evacuated. Just a whole lot of friends. I've heard they evacuated. My family stayed, but I hear it's not that bad as it was hyped up to be. Most like non-Louisianians, they I guess panicked or so. But my family, a whole lot of other people from Louisiana been through a whole lot of hurricanes during my time there. So it's nothing new. We always prevail. So.
Do you remember Katrina?
No, I was a little kid, but I do remember a couple of hurricanes that came through when I was little, but I don't have a vivid memory of Katrina, but I was little.
What was the most important thing you learned in those last 6 games of the season last year that's going to help you against Marshall and moving forward this year?
Just getting adjusted to that college speed at a fast pace and just learning on the fly because I got pulled off the scout team a little later in the season, so I just had to learn the playbook in a span of 2 weeks. So just learning on flying and adjusting when that opportunity came was a big thing. And going into this game, Coach knew he's just putting in a whole lot of stuff that we didn't run last year. So just learning that stuff on the fly, getting ready before this week's game was just really taught me something.
Now, being both sophomores, what's the key for success for both you and Jacob next to each other on the defensive line?
They preach doing our job. So, just doing our job, and we complement each other well. He's a long range dude. I'm more of a short, stocky dude. But, on some instances, he's gonna have to keep the contain. I got to get pressure in the pocket in some instances, and we just work hand in hand. So we're young, we're fresh, and we'll be ready to go Saturday.
Tell me about the nickname Biscuit. I guess you've had it your whole life.
Yes, sir. I have. It's been something everybody has been calling me throughout my whole life. So that's how everyone knows me.
How'd they come up with that nickname for you?
It was a thing with my dad. One of my dad's friends when I was born, I was like a little chubby and like a little biscuit. So that's how it came about.
So now you're Navy's Big Biscuit, right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot. Good luck against Marshall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anyone in my chat box, so I'm just going to go down the line. Pete Medhurst.
Pete Medhurst. Wow. Try that out. Take that out. Pete Medhurst, Navy Radio Network. Donald, let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite biscuit?
No, sir, I really don't have a favorite biscuit, but the ones from Cracker Barrel are pretty good.
Yes, sir. Well done. Good choice. You guys, when you guys came back from a month break last year, and you guys played some reasonably decent football there on the defensive side those last few weeks of the season, was there any confidence gained from that, considering preparation was anything but normal last year? And have you sensed that confidence, especially with all the sophomores, you look at that depth chart and there's plenty of SOs all over that depth chart right now. Do you sense that confidence has carried over now as you get set now for your first game of the season?
Yeah, I feel like I'm more confident than what I was last year as a freshman, just learning the system, and just getting a whole lot of repetitions. The spring and fall camp, they got us a whole lot of live reps against each other. We play triple option in practice every day, so it's more physical than what we'll probably face. We're not going to face a downhill team every week, but yeah, we feel more confident, more prepared than what we were last year without like a spring or fall camp or whatever. So I feel pretty confident in my teammates.
To that extent, what was that preparation like for you? Because last year as a freshman, you missed out on what is a normal spring. How much did that preparation help you, accelerate that learning curve heading into to fall camp?
Just getting a whole lot of repetitions and just learning the system, and getting coaching like without a whole lot of pressure with the game being the next day, and just a whole lot of conditioning and hard work. Just getting that off season work in with Coach Fitz and the training staff and all the coaches just really, I feel like, prepares us and me for this upcoming game, upcoming season.
I know last year when you put the helmet and the shoulder pads on for a game, you're running out of the tunnel. You're doing the best you can. But does this feel more like football now with the spring, with the full camp like normal? Does this really feel more like football now as you get set to play a game?
Oh yeah, I mean last year it felt kind of surreal. Just running out of the tunnel with the navy blue and gold on. I can remember a couple of years ago. It didn't feel like too long ago. I was watching Navy play Houston on my visit here, but yeah, I just can't wait for Saturday just to wear that jersey and all the fans being back. So that's something I'm excited for. All the traditions, just seeing us getting back to Navy football and Navy tradition.
Appreciate the time. All the best to you and your family down south. We'll see you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's go to Tom Bragg at Herd 247.
Hi, Donald. Tom Bragg. I cover Marshall for 24/7 Sports. Just curious what you've seen from Marshall on tape, and because that's an offensive line. They had some attrition. They lost some key guys, but they got some pretty good guys back too.
Yes, sir. I mean, we watch film every day almost on them. So, yeah, they have some pretty good guys. We try not to play down to our competition of the scout team. We try to model their game, what they do as much as we can. But those are some big dudes. I'm not the biggest dude, but I'm used to what I have my advantage, my size, my pad level. But I'm excited to face what they have.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Let's go to Grant Traylor at the Huntington Dispatch.
Donald, how you doing today, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Grant Traylor, HD Media. I also cover Marshall. Trying to set the scene a little bit for Marshall fans that might try and make the trip to Annapolis. The atmosphere there, what's that like for you as a player whenever you're coming out for a game at Navy Marine Corps Memorial?
With last year, we didn't have too much of the tradition and stuff that went on with COVID. So all of this I'm telling you right now is based off my visit and when I was at the prep school when we went to games. But the stuff here you can't find anywhere else. Like the brigade marching on. Like there's a dude from a parachute. Sometimes the Blue Angels will fly over. It's just some things you won't find anywhere else when you come to Annapolis. So it's just a different experience when you come here compared to any other college.
And for you, I mean, that's something that on your visit, you got to experience that atmosphere. That's something you've waited a long time to experience. Is that something that really gets you going for this week now that you're able to get that again after 2020?
Yes, sir. Being from Louisiana, I didn't see stuff like that when I was on my visit here. I was just like so starstruck. I was like, man, what is all this? This is crazy. But yeah, just having all this stuff back that we missed out on last year is just really something to look forward to. And man, it just makes me just so, I just can't wait for it, honestly.
Well, and I know, and again, prayers to anybody that that's affected with everything going on in Louisiana. For you personally, how difficult is it to focus on games as a college athlete at Navy? I know that, there's things going on in Afghanistan for you personally, the hurricane in Louisiana close to home, COVID. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of distractions. How do you manage it all, and how do you just lock in?
When I first got here, we were taught to have a balanced schedule within our lifestyle. So, a whole lot of distractions I try not to pay much attention to. So I just try to keep the main thing, which is school, football, my military endeavors, and just with the hurricane and what's going on in Afghanistan. I just try to check up on my family with that, and just read up on the news to see what's going on in Afghanistan and stuff like that. So first and foremost, I just try to keep the main thing, and just devote some of my time what else is going on outside of my life.
When you mentioned that balanced schedule, what is the daily schedule? What is life like for a college athlete at the Naval Academy?
If I told you my full schedule, I'd be going on and on all day about this, but
go right ahead.
In the mornings, this is a military academy, so we have formations, some trainings every here and there. Then, like every other college athlete, we have class, lunchtime meetings, practice. Then we have like a team dinner or whatever. Then we go on the homework. Whenever you can fit some film in, you get some film in. And that's how my day goes.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, man. Best of luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Grant, if you check out our game notes, we have a daily schedule in there for a midshipman and kind of our senior class schedules as well to give you a better idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Phil Bergman.
Hey, Biscuit. It's been 8.5 months since you last had a football game. Just how you feeling now, 5 days away for the first game?
And I just feel like I'm almost ready to go. I mean, that fall camp it was really physical compared to the last preseason we had last year. Like we were going full go. Like I hear Coach Niumatalolo say, we weren't going with the bags or any of that. Like we were full go, hitting every day. So I just feel like I'm right back where I'm at. Put on a couple pounds from last year, so I feel stronger, a whole lot more explosive than last year. So I feel like I'm ready to go.
And you touched on this a little, just having fans back in the stands again. What's it going to be like for you?
It's just surreal again. Like I said, I didn't really enjoy having no fans in the stands last year, but going back to that, my visit when I came here, it's just surreal just seeing all the fans and all the traditions and stuff held in Navy Marine Corps Memorial as a spectator. Now I can't wait to experience it as a player.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Carlo.
Hey, Donald, Carlo Generini with CBS Sports. The one thing I have for you is, what's the one thing you want to see as a unit defensively where you guys think you can improve from last season to this season?
I mean, it's just a whole lot of things we could work on, even myself. But I think one thing is just trusting each other. Like last year, we didn't have time to build chemistry. Like we can interact with each other a whole lot. But I just feel like a whole lot of events and endeavors we had together, it just built a whole lot of trust in between us. But we're still working on it right now up to Marshall. I think our team chemistry builds throughout the season. So once we get our team chemistry down, I think we'll be a pretty good defense.
Let's go to Bill Wagner.
Hey, Biscuit. The offense, last year it struggled. You've been going against the offense throughout August training camp. What's your assessment of how the offense looks? I know you don't have anything to compare it to from 2019, but does it look like they got it together?
Yes, sir. I don't know what Coach Ingram and Coach O'Rourke is doing over there, but compared to the spring to the fall, the offensive line is coming off the ball way harder than I thought. But like as I've heard over the past years, Coach Jasper and all the coaches over there, they're just some amazing coaches. And from what I saw, they've got some things in the works. So I just got full faith in my offense this year.
And what about the quarterbacks? We don't know who will be under center for on Saturday. It probably Xavier or Ty, it appears at this point. But do you feel like Navy has quarterbacks who can make plays? Because we know in this offense, in a triple option, you got to have quarterback making things happen.
Yes, sir. With whatever quarterback there goes, I have full confidence that either one of them will make plays. You know, Xavier, you saw what he could do last year. Ty, I've been with him since snaps and seeing what he can do, and people didn't get to really see that last year. But if the opportunity given, he'll make some plays for us. But either or, I have full confidence in both those guys or whoever's at quarterback this season.
And just how excited are you to strap it on and take on Marshall? I mean, obviously an outstanding program that's, usually top 25 going to bowls. I mean, this is a pretty stiff opener, don't you think?
Oh, yes, sir. It's just, man, like I said, a whole lot of times, it's just surreal to be back on the stage and just play in front of a whole lot of people, play on TV, just a whole lot of those opportunities given.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Matt Wilson, do you have anything? All right, I'll make another pass through. Let's go back to Scott Wyckoff. You're good. Let's go to Phil Bergman. Grant.
Yeah, just following up, I know that we're early in the week, and so film and evaluation on Marshall might not be complete yet. But how difficult is it for you all to get a gauge on what Marshall's going to do simply because they've got a new staff, new schemes coming in?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard. Like, we know they have a new head coach. But we're banking on, because I believe they still have the same offensive coordinator there. So we're just banking on some film from last year, seeing what type of players they have coming back. I know their quarterback is coming back. Some offensive linemen is coming back. So yeah, it's pretty difficult to know what they're doing right now, but we're trying to do our best. The film never stops, but that's it.